Happy Monday, everybody. It is February 9th, 5:01 p.m., 5:02. Sorry, we got started a couple minutes late. Bob is going to take this over as I am getting us all shared. So take it away, Bob.
All right. Real quick, we're supposed to mention, or they need us to mention, don't forget, guys, autism bats are in stock. Where's my camera? There it is. This is the senior version. There's still plenty. U-Trip version. This thing is, I can't wait to hit this. I got to wait for Teresa, unfortunately. She'll kill me if I hit her bat before she does. They are released. They're out now. Guys, on Friday, here it is, the monster. We all know I've been hitting this thing for about 2 weeks now. This thing is insane. If I ain't gaming mine, you know what I'm gaming. Numbers, 25.5 is when or 25 point, blah, 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 25, 25. This is a 26.5, 17.5, 9.5 on the hands. 225 compression. You know, it's a great bat. Has an incredible sound. Want to remind everybody, too, do not hit if it's cold in your area. Please don't do it. All you're going to do is blow up your bats, because we all know we do not store your balls properly indoors. Everybody leaves them in their truck or you leave them in the garage where it's cold, and you go out and hit those rocks, and all it does is destroy the barrel of this bat. Yes. That is it. That's all it does is destroy the barrel. Compresses and snaps it. Guys, don't do it, okay? The other thing, please do not, I'm not going to bark orders. Please do not roll your bats. Do not roll a short porch bat. All you're going to do is loosen up this cap and pop it off. You're doing nothing to help the bat. Nothing. I mean, it's just a break-in thing, and all you're going to do is destroy this cap. It's going to cause a separation right here is what's going to happen, and it's not going to do any good. It's not going to do you no good, really. All you're going to be doing is blowing yourself $275, $300 for a bat for no reason at all. I want to give a shout out to a buddy of ours this last weekend just did an announcement on they're having a daughter, Trayton Smith. Congrats, brother, to you and your girlfriend, wife. You know, congratulations, you guys. Gonna be great parents. Oh, yeah. I forgot. Short porch gloves, Cage. Guys, reach out to Cage. You guys want a glove, he can custom make it. He did a really good job on this one. This one's for me, obviously. You can see inside, he did a nice little tribute to my dad for me. You know, my dad passed away from autism. Or not autism, excuse me, Alzheimer's. And he can do pretty much anything. Just get a hold of him, message him, call him on Short Porch, and they will he'll walk you through what you need to do. They're not bad. We still got other things coming in. I saw today that Rob Taylor's bat is also being released on Friday. Mm-hmm. I haven't really seen the specs. I believe it was really close, or I heard somebody say, I can't remember if it was Dave or Jeff, said it was going to be really close to the Red Wig Popper with a bigger end load or a heavier end load, maybe. I can't really remember.
It says loaded, so I'm thinking loaded is the 0.5.
0.5, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
That big beast of a man swinging a 0.5 end load. Wow.
Well, that's what the Red Rig Popper is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, hats off to the guy. He can hit a 600-foot bomb at will and dent cars whenever he wants. We all know and heard the story. Wasn't it the sponsor's car?
Yes.
Oh, autism shirts. They're in. Guys, they're sick.
Yes. Also in the comment section, well, not in the comment section, but in the description is our YouTube channel. Go and like it. And Rob said, yes, it's the same as the red wig popper spec. So 12-inch barrel, 0.5 end load with the new anti-aging technology barrel.
There we go. Thanks, Rob. Love and peace, brother. Hope the girls are doing good.
Go follow the YouTube page. We really appreciate it. Like we said, if we get to 500 followers, us from the West Coast team will be doing a giveaway. Might be a glove, might be a bat. So you will just have to find out. Help us get to 500 followers, and we will put you in the drawing.
Right. One last thing. I'm going to make the announcement here. July 24th through the 26th, up in Ferndale, Washington. Josh is probably going to kill me for this. Hey, Ezzy, sorry. They're doing a Pioneer Days. It's their, I think this is probably the 10th year. It's either the 15th or 20th year they put this on for the Bob's Elite team that Josh Ezzy runs. The Short Porch West Coast team will be donating or giving a bat to the champion of the home run derby on the 25th. I will be present, and so will some of the Short Porch West Coast guys. I'm putting a team in it. If you want to play, let me know, and we're going to see if we compete. The flyer should be out tomorrow. I just got it approved today, so.
And that's a young kid tournament, right?
Young kid, senior. If you're over 50, you can swing a senior bat. If you're under 50, have to swing a U-trip bat. And God knows Short Porch has some of the hottest U-trip bats on the planet.
Yes. All right. Just sent Julia the invite.
Cool.
So
excited
to talk to Julia tonight. I think we got some people on here that will, obviously a lot of people out west know her. Other people don't. Can't see it. Who is it?
It was there. I can't see. You can just barely see the Founders Day. Up. There we go.
Yep. It's a little bit glare.
Yeah. Ezzy will post it. He just sent it to me.
Yeah, we'll get it posted and then go up there and support Bob and all the crew up in the Northwest with their tournament.
It's literally 30 minutes from the Canada border.
All right. Yeah, we'll get it. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I was watching the channel. That's so cool.
Yeah, so we started this, let's see, with Bob and I, December?
Yeah.
So I think it was beginning of December we started with Bob and I doing it. I had been doing a podcast last year and then took a little hiatus and just trying to bring different people on to spread information about the game and stories and how we can become a bigger family than we already are.
Love that.
Yeah, that's our philosophy, is that it's all about family. So
and education.
And education. Yeah, we educate. So obviously Bob is was the top rep for Short Porch last year. So he got his name on a bat for selling the most bats.
Oh, I don't have one to show either. Sorry.
That's okay. I'll believe you.
It's minion yellow. I'll just say it's literally that color yellow. It's bad.
So
with big black words that say Bob on it.
Super excited to have you on tonight because you are our first tournament director we've had on. And I know you just started, so it's going to be fun. We're just chit-chat about stuff. So why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about you and how you started playing softball and that part first?
Yeah. So like softball in general, obviously I started at the age of 4, just playing t-ball just like everyone else. And then I grew up, started playing competitive fast pitch and traveled around the world. Well, not world, but, nation, and, had really a lot of success there. I skipped college. I had other plans and I started my career really young at the age of 20. And got into becoming a mortgage loan officer. So I kind of was in limbo with softball in general for probably until 2019, and then I started playing League in Concord for slow pitch. I was like, what is the slow pitch stuff? Had a huge like pull swing, struck out swinging. Like it was such a different, like, adapting to the game as in general. And so then I moved out to Stockton in 2021, started playing League out here. And then someone was like, hey, you're really good. Do you want to like play, tournament ball? I'm like, tournaments? What? What's a tournament? And then, then that happened. I started playing women's, just, every so often on a women's D team. They're no longer around, but they're called Flossy Posse. And, shout out to Lisa for, even inviting me and thinking I was good enough. We, had a couple NCS championships, and, I started understanding the game a little bit more when it came to different sanctions and rankings and all that stuff. And then I slowly started getting asked to play on other teams. I played a lot of Legacy. That's very well known up in the Sacramento area. They're doing a great job with their program. And, it's just a lot of fun. It's kind of like backyard style. They don't really care about rankings. They just kind of set you up into uppers and lowers. And that's really cool. It gives opportunity for, higher ranked girls that can't play with their friends to be able to play with their friends. So a lot of people like that. And then in 2024, the end of 2024, I was like, I want to start my own women's team. And I started that with a close friend of mine, Brandy Howard, and we kind of really sucked at first. I picked up a lot of girls off of like Facebook, and you don't really know who you're gonna get, and we're just kind of getting out there to have fun and play the game the way it's intended, just to play ball and just have fun and commune with people and get to know one another and grow as a community. And I wanted to get some girls that love the game of softball but didn't necessarily have a home. So that's kind of how that started. And we started finding a lot of success early 2025. And I want to say we probably had about like 9 or 10 wins throughout the whole year under our belts. And we did really, really good. We went to Worlds for GSL. We took third there, just for E, low bottom of the totem pole. But we just had a lot of fun. We grew and we kind of made a name for ourselves. But I found the real gap just from the 5 years that I've been playing slow pitch. The real gap is there's no one that caters to the women. And it's no offense. Like, I'm not trying to offend anybody who has a women's program and they're, trying their best, but ultimately sometimes it takes a woman to do a woman's job,
Yes.
and just someone that can relate. Relate to the women and just say like, hey, I've been in your shoes and I've only been playing slow pitch for 5 years and I see so many gaps where women should be treated a lot better. Now, as you guys know, I just had my first tournament this past Saturday.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And it did not go as expected at all. I had a lot of complaints.
They never do, ever.
I was going to say, and you see, I mean, because you're with NCS, so you're under Jay and David Graham, right?
Yes.
And even when they go to Worlds, and they've been doing Vegas Worlds for how many years now? And I think there's always complaints and things never go how you're expected to. So, especially for your first one, you're good.
Yeah, I have to give myself a lot of grace and know that nothing's ever going to start perfect.
Right.
I implemented a brand new rule that kind of backfired on me. Basically, I kind of wanted to take what Legacy does, but on a little bit more of a controlled environment. So basically, how this new rule worked is we have what is called a big chip. Big chip meaning that you can have a ranking of 2 placements higher on your team without having your team to bump up to a higher ranking. And basically this was to protect teams from wanting to have A player on their team and not have to be a B team to do it. So you can be a C team and have an A player who's out there playing conference, just being, straight batty, going out there doing their thing, but they want to, when the conference season is not like no longer and they're looking for some reps and to play with friends, they're able to do that without compromising their friends' teams, right? So that's kind of the whole point about it. And so this big chip rule took into effect this past Saturday. And unfortunate thing is we had so many teams. We had 15 teams out there. We were able to split divisions. The ruling was really for the open division, but some teams, because we split it so late, some of the lower teams, E and D teams, they're like, oh, we get the big chip too. And I was like, well, technically, no, it's only for the open division. But they didn't want to play in the open division, but they still wanted to be catered the same way, which is understandable. But then, you know, then comes safety concerns. You know, should an A player be playing on an E team? Absolutely not, right?
Yep.
But you know, we had some issues there, and obviously that's where the biggest backfire came. And so I'm so thankful that I had 15 teams that were willing to say, hey, I'm going to support you and I'm going to enter in your tournaments because I see what you're doing and I, you know, want to support you. But the way that it was illustrated was kind of backfired in my opinion and could have been done a lot better. And also some of the fill-in directors that were there during that day was not informed over this new rule. So they were telling people one thing and I was telling people another thing. They're like, well, who do we believe? And so that was another thing, just some miscommunication that kind of caused some, you know, issues. But ultimately, as I was going around to all the games that were being played, it looked like everybody was having fun. Everybody, you know, was playing. It looked like everybody enjoyed it, and that's really what it's all about. And those type of kinks will hopefully get worked out. And that tournament, I was given fields. I wasn't necessarily given full authority. And
Yep.
as anybody knows, if they ever even attempted to be a director, field acquisition is like 99% of the hurdle.
Yep.
So I have been searching for fields. I did acquire a couple fields over in Concord that I'm hoping to run tournaments there if the teams want to be there. But yeah, field acquisition is the hardest thing. And David was nice enough to be like, hey, I need to fill out this tournament. Can you help me out? And that's kind of what, you know, Saturday was about, is filling out that tournament for him per se, and me being that. Sorry, my kids were supposed to stay
No
over
worries. They just want to be
there.
it's all good.
Yes, but yeah, so that's what Saturday was about, and so hopefully it gets better. I'm definitely working on it. That's for sure. I
Well,
learned a lot.
and that's what it's about, right? And like you said, you got the fields, you helped fill out a team. And I mean, I kind of saw so the hard part for us as coaches, and I'm sure you have this too with some of your girls, or your girls might be young enough. So I run a seniors team. Well, in 40s, we're still young enough to play young kid ball.
Right.
So it's like some of the girls are dividing their time, and it's like, oh well, you know, we're gonna go ahead and go play in this one, and I already committed to that team because we were 2 weeks later, you know, talking about it, even though we're 4 or 6 weeks in advance. So we played a throw together with Legacy. We had about half our team, and the other half were down there with you guys. But I was watching. It went from 4 teams to 6 teams, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna stick with 8 teams." And then next thing you know, you had 15 teams in it.
Right.
And I was like, man, like, and I know you guys finally had to, I think, cap it at 15, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you only had the 1 or 2 fields. So
yeah, I actually got some backlash from having so many teams because they're like, we had to turn away 20 plus men's teams for your women to play. And I'm like, sorry, I don't know.
Don't say you're sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is they're always saying, well, we don't throw women's because we don't have women's teams. And now you get them.
That's not the
and then
case.
There's the complaint that we had to. I mean, the women paid the same amount to enter the tournament as the men, right?
Correct.
So money's money.
Mm-hmm. You would think, yeah.
I would like to say that the women don't whine as much as the men's teams do. Overall,
Oh yeah.
A lot
It's
of
a
the men,
given.
complain about everything. But so And I know there was one complaint that was not in your control because, like you said, they kind of gave you the fields and they already set up the times and stuff. But it was, hey, we're going to start early. You know, we're not going to do the whole late game times. And then out, women started late, and
Right.
I saw the first comment like, so much for early game times. I mean, and you're like, give me a break.
Yeah, so that's one thing is that originally I wanted to run last weekend, the Saturday, at separate fields. And they're like, no, actually run your tournament. We'll give you fields at BLD because we have to fill this out. If we don't fill out, this tournament, then we're not going to get this date for next year. And I was like, okay, that's understandable. I don't want to compete with my team, right? I don't want to compete with David. I want to make sure his tournaments are filling out. So that was that. Well, I thought originally that all my tournaments would be separate from men's, so I can control the times. Ultimately, even if we had 15 teams, we can still start at 8 and be done by 5 or 6 p.m., not start at 11 and be done at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's just, ridiculous. I would never want. Trust me, I played in it and I was there, and it was a lot. Everyone was tired. The teams who won were the ones that could, probably got better rest and were more equipped and be able to adapt to the game times, because that was really hard. And especially as a woman, you have children, most likely you have, things going on. Maybe you don't have childcare. It's really hard, because a lot of men that go out there and play, they're like, oh, I give my my kids off to the wife and I go off and play. Well, we don't always have that same courtesy as, women who have children. So I completely understand. Like I had to send my kids and my husband home. I'm like, hey, it's already 11 o'clock at night. Go ahead and, I had to send them home and get a ride home, because I was like, this is ridiculous. I didn't want that to happen, and unfortunately it did. And like you said, it was something that was out of my control. But I wanted to cater to David because that's his tournament, and I was just helping him fill it. But ultimately, if it was up to me, I would have just said, hey, you got this tournament, filled out and handled. That I'm just going to go run my tournament on different fields, so then we can have adequate game times and make it, better conditions for women, because that's what I'm trying to advocate for, is better conditions for us, better fair play. Our umpires, no offense to them, but I don't feel like they were properly trained, or they weren't the best out there that we could have received. And that's another thing that women are having issues with at any sanction you have. I feel like men do get catered to with better umpires who really know the game better. I had a guy that was out there, he was pointing for a foul ball and then yelling fair ball. I'm like, wait, what? Whoa, what are we doing here? Is this our first time? Like, what is happening? And then the argumentative of like, oh, that's just how I do it. I'm like, but that's not how it's supposed to be done. So.
Yeah, that's not how any other umpire does it, and that's not how you're trained.
Exactly.
I have a word for that. That ain't good. Trust me.
Right. And, no, like, I'm not trying to point anybody out or be rude or malicious to anybody, but I had to go around telling everyone when I was getting complaints like, hey, I wouldn't choose these umpires to umpire in my tournaments. These are not my first picks. Like, I actually have 2 women who want to get into umpiring, who have previous experience, that I would like to have some women umpires out there if I can find them, right? Just because I feel like that might be just a better conversation. And then also just people who I know who have integrity, that are willing to admit if they did something wrong. Now, you can't change the past. A mistake is a mistake, but as long as you're willing to improve upon your skill set and not say, no, my way is the highway, then, I want people like that, stepping onto my fields.
And that was one of the things I had this weekend is, I mean, and if I told you who the umpire was at Legacy, you'd know right away. But it was, one pitch would be, oh, that's your top,
Yeah.
Okay, great, that's my top. And then same pitch, oh, that one's illegal, and it was the same pitch,
right,
same height. And then, oh, I needed a hair lower, and then the next one's a strike. So I said, you're terrible, but can you just be consistent with something?
Exactly, be consistently terrible. That's all we ask.
Yeah. And we're like, just don't, don't have one bright spot and then 15 terrible, spots. But he was,
Right.
I mean, it was bad.
Well, it's that you missed by that much, and it's like that much is a strike. You know that the ball touched it.
Right.
Happens
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. So did you guys have a lot of game breaks, or with the fields this time, did they just say, here's your fields from about this time on and just go to town?
So we collectively as a team, we had game breaks because out of the 15 women teams, we only had 2 fields to work with.
Okay.
So as a team, you had quite a bit of game break. Now, I would say pool play worked out pretty well. We had about an hour, maybe 2 in between the 2 pool play. But then when it came around to everybody finishing out pool play, there was probably like a good 4-hour break, depending on where you seated for bracket. And the problem of the matter is they were rotating their umpires, but like when we started at 11, we actually didn't start until 12. So our fields were already an hour behind before the women's even started. And so that's not good, especially when the championship game is at 11:30. And then
Right.
it just kept going downhill from there. You
That's a
know,
tournament director issue. That's what
yeah.
that is. Period.
Yeah. And it was, David was stretched thin because he was actually over at Twin Creeks. But the directors that he put in place there, they didn't really like do a whole lot of time management and everything. And, I
And
was doing what
that's the
I
most
could.
important. Time management is the most important. It truly is.
Yeah.
Keep that tournament going smoothly.
Yeah. So the umpires didn't really like help at all when it came to like saying like, hey, ball game, let's go, let's
Yeah.
start. I know a couple of the guys came over like this was already like bracket time, and just actually funny enough, my team got yelled at because we had take some BP on the side, and we were yelled at because or not BP, sorry, taking some ground balls with a bat before our game, and he was like, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, start the game. And we're like, as politely as we could be, we're like, hey, the umpire is not even here. That's why we're taking, the ground balls. And then the other team hadn't, they were home team and they hadn't taken the field yet. They were still filtering into the dugout. So I was like, you're yelling at the wrong people. Like, you need to talk to your umpire about getting the game started. We'll start as soon as the umpire is ready, but we can't start without an umpire.
Right.
So, yeah.
So that brings up a good point. So you're going to be directing tournaments. How are you choosing which ones you're playing in and which ones you're?
I'm not going to be playing at all. So for all of the NCS tournaments, I have, and that's another thing people don't realize is I've made that sacrifice. Like I love the game and I still want to play, but when it comes, I knew someone had to just step up as a director, and I'm making that sacrifice to be a director over being a player or even being a coach. So I'm going to step away from that role when I'm directing, and I'm sacrificing that. And that's okay for me because I want people to have fair opportunity when it comes to, women being able to play and have a non-toxic, safe environment, and being able to play the game the way that it's intended without, all this extra stuff. And so a lot of people don't realize that. Like I'm making a big sacrifice just even and becoming a director, but I'm stepping away from being able to play so I can direct. Now, this past Saturday was a one-off because literally they were like, "No, we don't even need you. Just go and play. We're fine and everything." So I was like, "Okay, if you don't need me," type thing. But I thought that was kind of weird too. I'm like, okay, what, like, because people were still addressing their concerns to me, and I had a few conversations while my team was in the middle of playing, and like, hey, Julia, you're up to bat, while I'm talking to someone about rules, or one team didn't have a full coverage face mask, and I was trying to figure out where they can get a mask so that their pitcher can pitch, all those things. So yeah, it was a lot, but I don't plan on doing that again.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's hard, right? Is, you have made a huge sacrifice. And I know not just myself, but there's other women, especially, I mean, we have a lot of Facebook pages to try and get more women to play out here. I
Right.
mean, everybody's thankful. Like, it's like, okay, somebody stepped up. Now somebody's taking the women's game seriously. Because when I first started playing, let's see, back in the early 2000s, I'm going to date myself a little bit.
That's okay.
But I mean, we had a huge U trip. You know, everything was U trip out here. And we played at Concord Willow Pass all the time. Like, I think every other weekend is where the tournaments were. And I mean, it was, you know, you had 6 to 8 teams per tournament, easy.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, we struggle sometimes to find that. Or I find in Legacy a lot, like you go to sign up and women's teams are waitlisted. And
Right.
it's like you have 3 women's teams or 4 women's teams. Why is everybody else waitlisted? Just because the men's are there? Like, fill your
Mhm.
women's division well. So I think everybody's trying to kind of work on that. But
Yeah.
you stepping into this role is huge, in my opinion. And you're trying to bring us a senior division as well,
Right.
which, I mean, we have one option right now, you know, essentially for seniors. And to get reps, we go play young kid ball. So,
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm trying to do. Like I was telling Van, I don't know how well you know her, but
Mhm.
she was like, "Hey, you know, I got senior teams that want to play. They want to get some reps in before you know, the senior season starts." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all for it." Like honestly, if you guys find a need, I want to be able to fulfill that need because ultimately that's what it's about. You know, I'm really not in it for the money. I'm not in it for, you know, I guess the fame or whatever you want to say. I'm really just in it because I want to create, especially like in the Bay Area. Like, I love that what Legacy's doing in the Sacramento area, but like, what options do the Bay Area have? Because I don't know how familiar you are with Toys for Tots at Twin Creeks every single year. There's
refuse to play it.
there's so many teams, and then I'm going around asking these teams when there's like, I don't know, 10, you know, the 15 just teams, like, hey, where are you guys coming from? They're like, oh, we're out of here, we're out of there, blah blah blah. And I was like, so you guys don't play any other tournaments? Or like, well, there's nothing offered around us, so there's nothing to really play. You know, we go play these backdoor tournaments over here and over there, but other than that, that's about all we have. And then obviously, like I have girls on my own team that are from like probably at least 4 or 5 of them from San Jose that are traveling out to Sacramento to just to play some softball. So I'm really hoping, like I have Will Pass. Funny enough, I didn't know that they used to run tournaments there, but I locked them in for quite a few dates. The next one would be April 25th for Autism Awareness and Acceptance Tournament, and that will be at the Will Pass Fields. And I'm really excited for that because it will be only women offered. You know, I can run seniors if we get enough senior teams, but it's going to be women only, and the times and the fields are all going to be for us. And I'm really looking forward to it because it'll actually be something that I can actually put my stamp of approval on, and I will take 100% responsibility of anything that goes wrong there too.
Well, and that's huge that it's going to be just women there. I mean, there's what is there 2 or 3 fields there? I can't
So
remember.
the best fields are field 1, 2, and 3, and those are the ones I'm planning on locking down. Now fields 4 and 5, they're kind of iffy. I know they did some type of, you know, like replacement of like the dirt and grass on a couple of the fields, but for the most part, field 1, 2, and 3 are great. I Even if I got 12 teams, I already did like the matrix on it, and I was like, we could get out of there by 5 o'clock, you know, and start at 8 o'clock, and have a couple different divisions too. One thing that was brought up to me at the tournament, and I really appreciate all the coaches giving me their input, was like on the website, create different divisions. Don't just put women's open because that is really scary to the E and D teams. Like, are we going to have to play, you know, C and B teams? Like, what's the case there? And I always tell people, like, if we get enough teams, I'll split it up. But ultimately, especially for the E teams, just having their own division like section. So when they put in, they know that you're going to be playing E teams. And if I don't get enough teams, I'll send out an email and say, hey, do you want to play these D teams? And we'll create a mixed division and see how that goes, and if they want to keep, you know, play or not, because that's their main concern, is putting in and then having to play a super high, you know, ranked team and get slaughtered, you know, because a 5 or 6 run spot's not going to, you know, necessarily help that.
Yeah, I found that the women's E and D division is really close.
Yeah.
in competition.
It
One of
is.
the teams that we played this weekend, I guess, is an E team, and they took the tournament, and we're like, "You're an E team? Wow, that's." I mean, I was surprised that they were just an E team, because I'm like, "You guys are better than that, in my opinion." But
Yeah, and that's another thing is everyone's rank, in my opinion, is all not correct. And that's something, another thing that Jay and David had put me on for is classifications. Like just, some people are getting ranked because they were playing a one-off, on a C team and they got ranked C and now they're stuck there. I'm trying to really help people rank into the spot they're actually supposed to be. Because like you just said, some of these E teams they might have more D players than they actually do have E. So wait, hold on a second. I think you might be a D team. So I tried my best to really pay close attention on girls and getting their names and everything on who's hitting that long ball every single time that they get up to bat. I saw a couple girls out there like, okay, I don't know what their rank is, but they look like they could be ranked D or C, even playing in the ED division. So yeah, that's kind of something that I'm going to be working with people and making sure that people know they can come to me and address their concerns about their ranking, and I'm not just going to blow them off and say, no, you played on this team last year or whatever, and not really get the full story. If you give me a clear explanation on why you got ranked this, especially if it's, ranking you down, explanation on why you're at that rank currently and why you feel you need to be ranked lower, I'm going to hear you out and, make the right decision. And, hopefully that, fits everybody, because I want people to be playing at their real rank. And I do believe that people's ranks, especially for NCS, are not accurate because there's not enough NCS women's tournaments yet to go around. So the rankings kind of just,
Or to
maybe that one or two tournaments.
Or to properly give you that tag. Correct.
Right. Exactly.
yeah, somebody asked me because they wanted me to fill in for a co-ed team. They're like, "What's your ranking?" And so I looked on the NCS team, and I had played in a major tournament was all. So I'm like, major. I'm like, it doesn't translate into the young kid ball. It's just in senior,
Right.
And so I had to call and be like, okay, so what am I? And they're like,
Yeah.
just go play. It's
Yeah.
not a big deal for the weekend.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, and people who have never played before, right? Like NCS tournaments, it's like
Yep.
you take your highest ranking from every other division. Well, seniors doesn't translate to anything else. So if
Right.
people are playing majors in the senior division, it's like, what do I translate? So I've had that question several times, and I'm like, just you're not ranked, essentially.
Interesting. Yeah. I would actually, that's new news to me. I would actually have to gain some more knowledge on that side of things. I'm not too familiar in the senior realm, but I do know that the ranking system is super flawed, and that has been brought to my attention a lot. And trust me, I'm well aware of it. And I'm hoping that as we get more NCS tournaments going and people start playing more, then their ranks can be better suited to what rank they should be in.
I was going to
Yeah,
say, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's just gonna take time.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, and SSUSA, their ranking system is horrible. There's teams that are AA that should be AAA and AAA that should be majors. They don't care. You can appeal. You can do whatever you want. They don't give a shit. It sucks.
Wow.
They only care about money. That's the problem.
That's
Who pays the most
unfortunate.
money? That's where this whole problem lies. They
Right.
pay the money. Somebody needs to step up. I'm happy that you're doing this. You don't know how extremely happy I am.
Thank you.
I
Thank
talk to
you.
Rachel daily, and we talk about this, about women's teams. I'm excited. Whatever you need from me, I'm there. You let me know. I'll come down and boss them all around. I got no problems with it.
Thank
Ask
you so
Rachel.
much.
I don't pull no punches. I got it. I got you. You need a sergeant arm? I'm your guy.
Vic,
I
you're
really
right, I'm not an
appreciate
A-chip.
that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vic was trying to say that I'm an A-chip. No, not even close.
Nope. We're going to be ranked here very soon, Vic.
We're actually going to try and put together a senior team, a senior short porch team for the national worlds in Vegas. So we're gathering our team from all over the nation to play. So hopefully we'll do a little good showing out there.
Nice. That's awesome.
And it's going to be co-ed. So we're just going to do co-ed team
Okay.
to let the boys play. You know, they
Yeah,
got to have a little bit of
Rach and
fun.
I are going to pitch against some pretty badass people.
Wow.
So
I look forward to playing seniors. I only got like 9.5 more years.
Only. I've been
So-
playing seniors for 39 years.
Wow.
So you'll appreciate this one then, is that we were playing against a girl and she hits a triple. And I'm sitting there at third. I'm like, okay, this is not fair. You're not out of breath. And she's like, it must be great to be young. And she goes, oh no, I'm dying inside. I'm like, see, when you get older, you get the first and you just say, I need a courtesy runner, and you're out of breath already. And so we were laughing. And she goes, well, how old is seniors? And I said, at least 40. She goes,
29. Wow.
oh,
20.
I got 17 more years or 13 more years.
Yeah.
She goes, then I'll come play with you. I'm like, I can play 60s by then.
Right.
Don't
When
know.
I first started playing, the running joke was like, when are you going to be old enough for seniors? I'm like, probably when you're old enough for, 50s.
Right.
So,
Like I said, I've been playing ball for 39 years and seniors for what, 19? I think 19 years. Wow. It's a long time. Time.
It's all right. In 4 years, that means you can play as one of our 35 chips.
Yeah.
There you go.
If you're not directing.
Yeah.
It's not directing that tournament. She's going to play in that one.
Yeah, we'll make sure. So, sorry, I'm going over my little notes. I do a little check, like little bullet points, so I can just have some things.
Right.
So you kind of hit on one thing. Bob wanted to ask about umpires. Do you prefer in the women's game male umpires or female umpires for a game, or does it matter?
I personally don't care as long as they know what they're doing. I just feel like you mentioned, Legacy Strike Zone and their umpires. I would say, like, I would love, just because I'm a woman, I would love to see some female umpires out there. I already have a few interested girls that had brought to my attention their interest of umpiring. I don't think it should be discriminatory towards sex, but what I can say is I want an umpire that not only knows what they're doing, but even if they're a little bit shy on, the umpiring side of things, of, just gaining their knowledge of experience. I'm okay with lack of experience as long as you're willing to admit that you're wrong and approach every situation like, like there's a solution that suits everybody. I've just been approached by umpires where they're very standoffish and they just they don't even want to talk to you, or maybe like as a pitcher, right, you're like, hey, where did that miss? And then they're like upset that you've even asked or talked to them. We actually had, what was that?
It's called a God complex.
Yeah, none of that. Like, I don't care what, like, if you're a male or female. I just want you to, be understanding. Like, hey, like that ball down the line that hit the line and you didn't see it, and be like, oh, okay, well, I missed it. Yeah, I'll try to get out. Like, and also umpires that get out there, just like that doesn't just sit behind the plate and take a look at their phone in between innings. It's just a bad look. And if I notice that as a player, like other players are noticing that, and just like actually act like you're there and you're getting paid, like some like just act like it's a volunteer job. Like, you're getting paid, like you gotta be like your paycheck, right? Like, if you're getting $35 a game and you're getting however many games, like that's quite a bit of money. Like, I would expect you to at least do your job, not be perfect, obviously, but at least do your job and be nice to people, have some understanding. And I've had some interesting conversations with some umpires just as of recent. So it's curious what umpires think are legitimate rules and not legitimate rules. It's just like, I don't know how much you guys come in with like the infield fly. I've had a lot of instances recently, mainly like at league. I play league down at BLD in Manteca. And some of the umpires are under the impression that, I mean, and I could be completely wrong about this, but under the impression that infield fly is based off of the capability of that specific player. And I'm like, how do you know their specific capabilities?
Routine fly ball. Keywords.
Yeah,
Rule
routine.
says routine fly ball. Not the ability of the player, routine.
Thank
That is
you.
what it
Thank
is.
you.
Well, and it's interesting you brought up infield fly specifically because we had several occasions on Saturday
Where it
where we're
should have
like,
been.
well, he just never called it. And
Oh,
bases
yeah.
loaded, pop up to the shortstop. And he
Yep.
just stands there. We're like, don't worry, we'll call it for you. That's infield fly. And he goes, well, it was in the air and the sun was up, so I couldn't see it. We're like, so you couldn't see it was going right to our shortstop?
Well,
Like,
that's a whole other rule because now you're getting into safety for the field and for the players.
Yeah.
So at that point, you need to step up and go, there's a problem here.
just
Yeah.
being that way because he was
Right.
He's being
Exactly.
lazy.
Just say what we're all thinking.
Yeah. In the Northwest, we have probably 3 or 4 women that actually umpire. They're better than some of the guys. 90% of the guys, they run out there, they call balls and strikes. They make a mistake, they'll say it.
There you go.
It warms my heart that they're there. We have them in league. Oh, she's amazing. Love her to death.
That's what I'm looking for. So if you know anyone in the direct area, then send them my way because I would really appreciate just like you said, some like honest people know what they're doing and are not lazy. Like just get out there, make a call to the best of your ability, and then let the chips lie where they lie.
You can't change a call. Okay, I messed up. Call it good. I'll get the next one, I promise you.
Yep.
Fall on your sword, as Rachel and I always say, fall on your sword.
Yeah.
Easy.
Julia, Lena De La Cruz?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She said that she reached out and spoken to different sections with no responses, so she might be somebody to reach out to.
Awesome.
When they're not playing. So, because I'm assuming that she made that comment right about then.
Yeah.
Exactly, Elmer. Exactly.
And even if it's an umpire who's just starting out, like, especially I think women, we can be really feisty at times and we can say stuff that
mentor
shouldn't.
It's called mentor. That's what
we're passionate. We're very passionate.
Well, I'm just glad our games weren't live streamed this weekend.
Yeah. We do a mentor program. When you're first starting out, they'll put an experienced umpire with a brand new umpire for a whole game. They'll just stand back there, won't make any calls, but in between innings, they'll correct you. This is what you need to look at more. This is what you need to do more. It's just a mentor program. It actually works very well. There's a guy named Butch Jones. We call him, his name is Lloyd Jones. We call him Butch. That guy has the best umpire program in the planet. All his umpires respect and he's a great director. But all the people, his umpires respect the hell out of him because they all know it's not easy to do, and he takes care of all of his umpires. I'll put you in contact with Butch.
I would really appreciate it because I've never personally umpired myself. But I've been playing for so long. I mean, I know the rules pretty darn well. And when I see some umpires make some questionable calls, especially the infield fly, it's like if they're camping right under it, or even like I had an incident where the pitcher, some pitchers take off their face mask, some don't, but sometimes there could be a delay of getting underneath the ball just because of the face mask being there. So like I had a, umpire say, oh, well, she had to take a couple steps back in order to be able to secure the ball. And then I was like, well, yeah. And they're like, well, so I didn't think that was an infield fly because, she couldn't get to it and everything. And I was like, but it literally got in her glove. And then what happened, it actually popped out. But she gloved it, popped out, and then, threw it and then funny enough, it was my pitcher, right? So I was like, this rule is intended for the safety of the offense. So I'm telling you as out of the kindness of my heart that you made the wrong call because they end up getting a double play when it could have easily just been, the out and that was it. But, the umpire didn't call infield fly. The runners thought everyone even in the stadium thought that it was an infield fly. So no one advanced. And then unfortunately the ball dropped. Threw it the third, threw it the second, and then got those 2 outs.
That umpire wouldn't have been happy with me.
Yeah, and you try to be as nice as possible, but he was pretty stuck in his ways, and a lot of the umpires
I didn't have any short porch stuff on my body when that happened. Just saying. Routine fly ball. That is the key phrase. That rule states routine fly ball. Mingo's watching. Him and I umpired ASA. We got our certification at the same time. He'll tell you routine fly ball. That's the key to that whole phrase.
Yeah. So
yeah. As a tournament director, what are your suggestions for the coaches? Like, you know, and even as another coach to help out the tournament director and how to make a tournament run smoothly.
Oh, yeah.
Good question. As coaches, we can be kind of a pain sometimes.
Asshole. It's okay.
Honestly, a great example would be this past Saturday. I had a lot of coaches come up to me with concerns. And the first thing I told them is I said, I appreciate you to even be willing to come up to me and have a conversation instead of being like, you know, forget this. I'm not playing in one of her tournaments again, you know, because if I don't know what's being said, there's no way for me to amend, you know, a poor situation. There's no way for me to come back from that because I wasn't given the opportunity. So I just thank them for giving me the opportunity to be able to rectify whatever, you know, situation happened. So there's a lot of the things that coaches had come up to me about, and I would say that everything was handled pretty well and we had a great conversation. And did everything play out exactly how everybody wanted it to? Probably not, but you know, I did express, you know, my apologies if I did something wrong, some like simple as, you know, like the big chip rule and how it was miscommunicated for the tournament. But then, you know, other just concerns about people's rankings and where they should be ranked. You know, we had conversations there about that. You know, I think I was pretty understanding about, you know, their concerns, and I was able to either remedy immediately or at least have a conversation to how we can, you know, future, you know, fix whatever situation that had happened wrong. So I would say just like my, you know, thought as a coach to a director, like I just want to have a conversation. I want people to be able to come to me and be like, hey, this is, you know, what went wrong, whether it's something like maybe an umpire did or said, or, you know, how the tournament, you know, was, you know, the rules and all that stuff. Like just come to me and have a conversation, and then hopefully we can, you know, figure it out, because I'm learning, they're probably learning. I know there's some new coaches out there forming new teams, you know, they don't know what to expect, and I'm just trying to do my best to make it, you know, fair all around to my best ability. So hopefully I answered that question.
Elmer, who runs some USPA tournaments up here, made a good point. Says he's said if you're hosting a tournament, scrimmage event, anything, make sure all the umpires working it just don't know the rules, but they know your rules, because all directors have little tweaks here and there. And then, you know, and make sure, like, I mean, I know we've had directors not back up the umpires on calls before. And
that happened to you, huh?
Huge. You know, we have that SSUSA. They have a rule that if you drop an F-bomb, you're ejected from the game. So
immediate.
We were playing, and I was pitching first. We were home team, first batter, and she said it to herself, like, "What the F?" You know, like barely to where the umpire could hear it. And all of a sudden, he ejects her, and we're like, "What is going on?" So he ejects her, and then both teams, we have no clue what's going on, because he didn't. Normally you say that, remind the teams, like in your pregame meeting. Didn't say a word. So the director comes over and goes, "Oh, we're just going to use that as a warning." And she's back in the game to start right from where you guys were. So, I mean, that just undermined exactly what the umpire just did, which is hard. I mean, but that's a hard call to make in general.
We've had that happen in Vegas. I mean, umpires and coaches are having their meetings, and behind the dugout, you hear somebody dropping bombs. Umpire walked right over and ejected him before the game even started for the first pitch. And we played this championship game for Worlds, and they eject this guy. And was like, what the hell just happened? He wasn't even in the dugout, but he warned everybody.
There was a lot of rules that were implemented, especially at GSL Worlds. I don't know how familiar you were with the bat flip situation. But there's a lot of girls that were ejected just for, a supposed bat flip. And, I know that rule is pretty gray, but they were very, very strict. And, the umpires said,
Don't get
well,
me.
if I don't enforce these rules, then it's my head. So I have to enforce the rules. So, I see it both ways. Some rules are more gray area than others, and it's really up to interpretation or, how they see it in that moment. And will they always make the correct choice? Maybe not. I do believe that there is a place for a director to override umpire's ruling. Like, funny enough, I was watching in the ED division just on Saturday, and this umpire was kind of already making some interesting calls. But one incident was infield fly. Supposedly he called it, but no one heard him. Well, the runners on first and second, they advance, and the ball was it was dropped, and it was passed to second base, and they tagged the base. They didn't tag the runner. And so first he said, no, I called infield fly. So the runner's out at first, and then they're like, well, the runner's out at second too because of the force. And then he was like, oh yeah, she's out too. So I guess, that's the third out. And like, wait, whoa, hold on a second. She would have to be physically tagged. She did advance on her own accord. And then he was like, oh wait, actually send the runners back to first and second because they weren't allowed to advance because it was an infield fly. I'm like, wait, no. The runners can't advance. So at that point, I stepped on the field. I wasn't going to intervene, but it was getting to a point where the teams were arguing back and forth. And I was like, hey, let me just help you out. I'm, one of the directors today. Infield fly, the runners advance on their own accord. Suppose you said you called it, right? No one heard you, but that's okay. You called it. So the runner at first that hit the ball, they're out. That's fine. But the runners did advance. The runner on second, she wasn't tagged physically. They tagged the base, but she's still on the base, so she's safe. And he was like, okay, so don't send them back. I'm like, no, don't send them back to the bases. They were allowed to advance. And then he was like, okay. And then, that was it. And then, both the teams thanked me. They were okay with the decision. They felt like that was the right call. So, some situations, and, I didn't like reprimand the umpire, embarrass him in any way. I just like, hey, I think this is how, you should handle it. Then he, took my advice, and he, fixed the call, and, nothing, no harm, no foul. So there are incidents like that, but if there is a strict like no F-bomb rule, and that is very well known, I think coaches also need to do a better job at reading the rules, because it really does help the directors. It helps the tournament run more smoothly, because if we're arguing about rules, during the game, it causes delays, and it just causes, confrontation that's really not needed. So if you could just, as a coach, just read the rules, understand the rules, and that just makes a smooth gameplay across the board for everyone.
And that is hard with some of the different nuances between each, set of rules, right? Like
Right.
SSUSA actually just sent out, I just got it in the mail last week, the new rule book. And I'm like, oh wow, you actually sent me a rule book? Nice. Because, old school.
You haven't been coaching very long, have you? You get it every year.
No, they haven't sent it every year. They didn't.
I got one last year.
Hey,
They must have wanted me to pay attention to the rules.
I mean, and I know how much Bob reads the rules. So we had a problem at one of the tournaments, and I'm calling him because the lights shut off on us.
Yeah, I was right too.
And so I had to school the director because he had no clue what to do. And I was even the director of SSUSA. I'm like, no, this is what the rule book says. Mm-hmm. And he didn't want to go with my first solution. So
we even told him what page to go look at, if I remember rightly. He didn't like it.
Yeah. And so does NCS actually have the rules anywhere but on the website, or is it only on the website?
That's a great question. I know the rules are on their website. It's pretty accessible, in my opinion, but I'm not sure where else they would be posted. But I mean, they're pretty accessible. I mean, I know when I first started coaching, every single, tournament we ever played in, I would like meticulously, especially when we went to Worlds, like read the rules, make sure I'm not doing anything, out of the rule book and cause us harm, because as a coach, like that's your responsibility. When we
Exactly.
went to Worlds, there was multiple teams that didn't have the same color jersey. I'm like, wait, hold on a second. I thought, all of them have to look the same. And then
Mhm.
so, things were kind of let go, especially in the E division. So I thought that was interesting. I'm like, I did my job to read the rules, and this is not what it's supposed to be, and you're making exceptions. And it was what it was. It's like, is
Did
the
they,
jersey that big of an issue? Not really, but it's like it's
did
in
they
the
at least have
rules.
the same logo on them?
Nope.
See, that's a no-no. You can
Yeah.
have different colored jerseys as long as it's got the same logo. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, and I would say that another thing just with women, like women's E division, I feel like is always kind of like we're kind of in the trenches a little bit,
I get that.
and
I get
we're
that.
not we're kind of always given exceptions because we don't know because we're lower girls, and but like I mean,
I
if
mean,
you're
I
going
could read
if
the
you're going to
same
the worlds, you should know the rules.
rank B, right? I mean, there's no, it's not hard to go and find the rules like you said and read up on them. I mean,
Yeah,
and I remind my girls, I've learned the hard way. In seniors, we don't touch the plate, right? We have the line that we cross. So every time, like, okay, guys, we touch the plate and there's no commitment line.
yeah, yeah,
And there's a foul to give. There's no foul to give. Like, and it's like you
yeah.
have to remember who, which tournament you're playing in,
Right.
and
I I commend you for that, because just going from league to tournament, sometimes my brain gets backwards. Wait, is the plate a strike? Is the plate not a strike? Hold on a second. Just from league. So having to go from sanction to sanction, playing in either seniors or, like you said, young kid ball, it's different rules, and you have to be prepared to know all those rules. As a coach, as a player, and obviously certainly as a director. So that's what hopefully I can pride myself on, is making sure that the rules are you know
I guess
known across the
I
board.
guess I'm spoiled because it's all the same no matter what I play. League, co-ed, all we do is the same stuff.
Ah,
Don't have
lucky
to touch
duck.
the plate. Got a net for pitching and in league, no net for tournaments. Yeah, it's great. I'm
yeah.
spoiled.
So you mentioned something about something you ran into this weekend too, that about the pitchers' helmets.
Yeah.
So how did you guys resolve that?
I mean, ultimately, we just let it fly. So we had a pickup team put together specifically for this tournament. They wanted to support me. It's all the girls out here in Stockton that play league. Some of them play tournament, but they were out there to have a good time. And the pitcher had brought to my attention. She was like, "I play seniors, and we don't have to have a full face mask, and we this is what I always wear." And I was like, well, I can get, our pitcher had two different face masks. They were both full coverage. I was like, I can lend you hers, as long as I have her approval on it. But they only ended up playing 3 games. They're I think by one umpire given a warning about it, and then after that it wasn't enforced. So I wasn't going to correct the umpire on it, but if they were wanting for her to have a full face mask, then I would have, gotten her one just from our pitcher to help out. But that's the thing is like I shouldn't have to have that predicament happen, because you should know the rules. But for instances where you're just putting a team in together just to have some fun, and you didn't really pay a whole lot of attention for the rules, and I understand it to an extent. So hopefully I could just have a face mask nearby, and that is the case, because other sanctions, they don't have that ruling. Some don't even care if you wear one at all. And it was the ED division, so one can say that girls don't hit it as hard, which is not true at all. And
Nope.
usually they hit it hard, but they lack the back control to not go middle, or hit it where they just, like, I know, for instance, like I have some pitchers come up to me like, "Don't blow middle at me." I'm like, okay, like I don't ever do that, right? And then like next pitch, I go middle. I'm like, okay, maybe I do a little bit, just a little bit. But you're just see ball, hit ball, I guess.
Yeah, we
But
call that
yeah,
the Mingo rule up north. The first person that talks about I never hit the pitcher, guess what? You always
they're here the pitcher.
never
And
fails. 100%.
And sometimes it's just a pitcher. Like I feel really bad because I'm like, oh, I haven't done that in a while. And then I'm like, oh wait, now I remember your style of pitching. For some reason, that ball likes to go right back there. So sometimes it's just the style of pitcher. You can't help it.
Nope.
Yeah, lefty pitchers like Bob, he likes to hang them out there for us righties, so you just go at his head.
I throw outside low to everybody. Why? Because I want the ball back at me.
See, most pitchers like the action, so give them what they want. I'm actually the opposite. I have a very inside out swing, so if you pitch me middle, like if you pitch me like inside, then I'm going middle. If you pitch me outside, I usually take it where it wants to go. But I don't have that pull swing, so I'm not. If you pitch me low and outside, I go middle. It's the opposite.
I'm throwing you high and deep.
All
Sorry.
the secrets from
Yeah.
the player.
And I've been working on it. So like
high and deep, Rachel. High and deep and inside.
Yeah, and funny, Van Fawn, whenever she plays against me, I know I'm gonna get that high and deep pitch every time. So I'm like, I've been working on it. So most of the time she gets me, but I'm like, I either catch her off where she misses her location, or I'm able to kind of like, hit it off the handle, or hit it off the handle and just kind of like take it back to the middle. But yeah, so she knows my swing very well, and she knows exactly high and deep that's my weak spot right there for sure.
She definitely does her homework.
Yes.
So.
She does. We've talked about that before, Rachel and I. She's a
Yeah.
very intelligent pitcher.
Yeah, and it helps that we play each other a lot. A lot of these teams out here, like it kind of like what's the word for it? But it kind of is, we play each other so often because there's only so many women's teams. So I was like, oh, it's this team, it's this pitcher. We know how she pitches. So like my goal is to get some new teams out here. Hopefully I'll help. Because I'm a women director now, people will gain some confidence of like, hey, I can start my own team. She did it, I can do it,
Right.
and just start from the bottom and work your way up. I didn't know where it was going to take me, but we're now a D team in NCS. We started E last year, and we've found a lot of success, and we're continuing to grow and improve on ourselves and get better. And we're having a lot of fun in the process. But you got to start somewhere, so. Don't think that you gotta just start out and just be a C team right off the bat and playing all against all these big dogs, because you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
Van cracks me up. I do. I know.
Oh, Van's watching? Hey,
He's
girl.
on. Van's on.
I just gave away all my secrets.
Yeah, you did. You're done. As a director, too, you really need to not, thrive on not making the same mistake twice. I mean, learn from that mistake and not to make the same one twice. That's where these tournament directors fail, is they always make the same mistake over and over and over again. They won't correct it.
Yeah.
That would be my advice to you, is try not to make the same mistake twice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Before I became a director, I had a lot of talks with some directors and different sanctions, and I addressed my concerns as a coach to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll get to it. It takes time. Be patient with us." And then a year goes by, I'm like, how patient do I have to be, right? So it's like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. I don't want to fool people out here. I'm not in the business for that. Like, I want to own up to my mistakes and say, hey, like you said, it's not going to happen again. I'm going to be sure to it. I've already told people what happened this past weekend on Saturday. I'm like, I don't want this to happen again. I learned from my mistakes, and David is a great person. I continue to work with him, but I think I'm going to stick to just acquiring my own fields, because then I'll be able to make my own decisions. And I think that's going to be the best way to remedy a lot of the mistakes that happened this past Saturday.
Well, that's huge for you that you know that after just one tournament, right? But you still had that support for your first tournament versus just being at your own fields and going, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? Oh, wait, do I do that?
Right.
And always.
Oh, I 1000% like 1000% agree, because I called David and Jay. Jay actually showed up in person also like a couple times, and I was having conversations, and they just kept reiterating like, hey, we support you, we back you, you know, your mistakes are going to happen, we'll fix this, we'll fix this. So, you know, they all definitely are on my team, and they're willing to you know, help me, because I don't know everything, and I do need a lot of guidance. But I'm here for the people. You know, I want to be the voice for the women and make sure we make the proper changes that are needed. And like you said, not make the same mistake twice.
I don't think you need as much guidance as you think you do.
Oh, thank you.
The most experienced directors out there make tons of mistakes, and they just don't care. They just go, okay, it's old news, and go to the next problem. I
Yeah.
think you're going to be a lot better than what you think you are. Trust me.
I really, really appreciate that. I really hope so. I just, you know, field acquisition is going to be my hardest hurdle. I would say, you know, once I can get some solid fields for these ladies and make it really nice for them, I truly believe we're going to create something special, and I really look forward to it.
Yeah, that's
Again, West Coast is here if you need it. We got anything you need. Resources, whatnot. We'll figure it out.
Another
Awesome.
question we had is, and I know this will probably be, you'll sit there and go, oh man, what is your dream tournament to throw? Like if you could have, you had, you know, money wasn't a question, fields weren't a question, like what fields would you have? Like what would you do for it? How many teams? Like your dream tournament that's going to be a goal at some point.
That puts you on the map.
That puts me on the map. Oh, geez. This is a tough question, because I've had so many thoughts go through my mind since becoming director. I mean, ultimately, I kind of envision a lot of my stuff from what they're doing on, you know, they're doing in the Midwest. I've seen a lot of successful women's tournaments in the Midwest. I'm like super jealous. I'm like, I wish this was in my area, right? I've seen a lot of super drafts where you just come as a player, you pay your fee, you get, you know, a jersey, and then, you know, also maybe like my dream tournament would probably be like something similar to like almost like a Spiders event, but like for women, right? So you have a big draft pool, and then everyone gets placed on a team based off of their, you know, position and everything. People are meeting new people. They're not playing with the same people all the time. And you're, you know, getting hooked up with some nice gear, you know, maybe you know, like a nice jersey and some shorts or pants or whatever. And then the top, like let's say, I mean, obviously this is dreaming big, but if we have like 25 teams in the tournament, and like let's say the top 10 teams gets like a really nice prize package, like individual and team related, and you know, that would probably be my dream tournament, just because I know it's not something that's currently being offered, and I know a lot of women would show up for it. Like I know I would.
Yeah.
And as far as like field goes, like I feel like BLD and Manteca is a great location because they have 6 fields, and they're all turf, and they're just newly redone, and you know, great lights, everything, and it is a pretty central hub for a majority of the teams. I know it's pretty far drive for the teams out in the Bay, but I feel like it's well worth it. Like if we were able to just women's only, like sell out BLD, like that would definitely be a dream of mine, and I believe it is definitely a possibility. And you know, another thing is, it's if we did a super draft type tournament, like we're not necessarily looking at rank. I would say rank would be, you know, something that is going to be, you know, kind of create the teams, but ultimately just positions and all that, just the way that Spiders does. Like I think that would be really, really cool. And yeah, that would probably be a really cool dream to achieve for sure.
I say
you ever get to that point, let me know. I'm there for you.
Awesome.
And I think a 2027 goal for that would be huge. Like, I mean, give yourself that year and be like, okay, next year, this date, this is what I'm going to do. And you start we start advertising it and help you get the word out there.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to come because, I mean, even the SoCal girls, I know Capri's watching or was watching. I mean, I bet you she would bring girls up and just say, hey, we got to go do this.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get Washington, I mean, Nevada, you get all the Reno people too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if I can get girls from out of state, like that would be even more of a dream come true, honestly. Like I wasn't even thinking that big, so I obviously need to open my mindset a little bit more.
Well, when you dream big,
Yeah.
big, and it can always, you can always scale down.
Use your resources at your will. Use them as much as you absolutely can.
Thank you.
We have the platform. We got no problems pushing it. None.
I really appreciate that.
Not
Like
where
this makes me
women's
really
tournaments are
excited.
concerned to women. I'm all in 100%.
Jaeger's saying to use League Joe to organize it. It also has a ranking system for each player as well.
I've heard of that. That's actually a pretty cool program.
It's called League Joe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
pretty
Jaeger's
legit. Thanks, Yvonne.
Is one of our guys back in Florida, so that they have a lot of these different things, back there. And this is how we get a lot of our information is, through these and people saying, oh, we use this or we did that. And you just try things out. So,
East Coast has more resources anyways. Dirty bastards.
What they're doing on the East Coast and Midwest, like in the slow pitch softball, like it's so cool. Like I travel up every year out to the Kansas City Boo and Brew. It's a big like up all night type tournament. It runs for 3 days for co-ed and women's, and it's huge. There's like I think just in like women's D we had like 42 teams. Like that is just unheard of, and it was so cool just seeing all the different teams come in from out of state all over the place, and it's just so fun. Like I really would love to get California up to the speed of what they're doing in the Midwest and the East Coast for sure.
It can happen. It can
for
happen.
Sure.
Definitely get there. I guess Jason Kendrick uses the League Joe for his tournaments, for his draft tournaments, because he does smashers. So
okay.
I mean, if he's been using it, him and Katie, they're starting to get a lot of traction. So
nice.
And they may even be able to help. They might even want to help you run one out here to kind of maybe collaborate with one with them.
I would love that.
Because they did a Hawaii one this last year. They're doing Idaho, so they move theirs all around the country like Spiders does.
Okay.
So that might be actually a good collab for you.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah. My last question I have is your opinion. How do we keep improving the women's game, no matter which level it's at? How do we, keep elevating it to where we don't have to worry about how many teams, are going to be there this weekend?
Listen to what the women want. Like they're not talking for nothing, right? They're not talking to hear themselves talk. Like just from me announcing me becoming a women's director, I've had so many messages from different women like, hey, like what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Like for seniors, for instance, like what do you think if we ran just a 1-day senior tournament? I'm like, yeah, I love that idea. Let's get one together. Like we have one going on the 28th in Elk Grove. What do you like? How can we, like, we're having issues over here. How can we get our, high ranked players that are playing conference playing some local tournaments so they can get some reps in and they can play with their friends? Okay, what about we do like my big chip rule? You get your 3 normal chips and then you get the big chip of the higher ranking. So you can have someone play with you and they can, hop on some various teams, and makes it fair across the board, but it allows them to play. There's a lot of girls that are playing conference right now that want a place to play, and I'm trying to create that for them. So these are the things that have been brought to my attention that I am all for. The reason why growth doesn't happen is because you're not listening to the needs of the players. The players are the people who pay to play, right? So we should be listening to what they need. If there's a need for girls that are playing conference to find a place to play, then why can't we create that need? Like, why do we have to be stuck in the old ways of playing that they don't have anywhere to play? Like, why are we stuck in that? I understand the safety concerns. I understand that. But if you have one A player on a B or on a C team, is that going to make the difference of anything? No, but it will allow, because they're still playing. they're playing in other sanctions that or backdoor tournaments that don't care about ranking. But I'm trying to create a controlled environment, but also an environment where girls can play with their friends when they're not out there playing conference. That's just one of the examples, but just listening to the needs. So if there is a need, like I want to fill it, and I think that's what is going to cause the most growth and not be so stagnant and stuck in ways when we could be seeing changes and seeing growth happen. So I'm really excited.
Cool.
I love it. Well, I mean, that's huge. And I mean, everything you said, I think you're going to do phenomenal.
Thank
and
you.
I'm excited. We're still working on our last few players for the 28th. So we're trying to get our last couple out there so we can make sure to come support you.
Thank you so much. I think we have 5 teams the last time I checked, but hopefully we can get some more out there.
Yeah, we're like I said, we want to get swings in with the senior bats because you can't anywhere else. So
right.
That'll be awesome. Bob, you have anything else for her?
One last question, just one. What is I know that we're both short porch people. I mean, doesn't matter. What is your bat of choice, and is it balanced or end load?
So currently I swing a 26 ounce half ounce end load. I used to swing a 27 with a full ounce end load. So I've been slowly going down in size, but I think I'm kind of stuck at the 26 and a half. Right now, I am swinging a Mike and Freak. But I do like Mike and Easton only because, if you grew up playing fast pitch, I used to swing, Easton bats or DeMarini. So I like the sound. I like the feel. Ultimately a bat is just personal preference. I haven't dabbled too much into the slow pitch bats a whole lot. The only other bat I've really ever owned I had a couple tantrums. Obviously, that's Easton. I had a Louisville, didn't like the sound. No offense to Louisville. It's a particular sound. I also play, league out at BLD during the winter time. They don't do good in cold, so I just don't like Louisville. Tried them out. I really haven't had a whole big preference on bats per se. I just have stuck. I know Miken is just pretty long lasting. They take a while to break in. That's probably obviously the only negative part about them, but they do, once they warm up, they get hot. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I swing. And only because I have yet to dabble into the specific slow pitch branded bats.
Well, we'll have to get together, and you and I can get together and do BP someday too. So you can even just, if you want to try short porch bats out, I have plenty of them.
If she swings a KP, I have the bat for her.
Oh yeah, that new KP23. Oh man, that's a beauty. And
I'm not taking anything from that bat. We do not bash any bat company, but
yeah,
my girl up here, Victoria Shades, is the Mike and rep, and her and I battle a lot. And
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I have a bat that will beat that bat.
I just want a short porch bat because the graphic designing, I told people,
Leslie,
the designing's top notch. Every single time I double take at someone's bat bag, yeah.
This is a new autism bat.
I love that. Every single time I double take out a bat, it always is a short porch. I'm like, those graphics are insane. I mean,
even the hands have texture, so you can feel the little fingers.
Really?
Just like you would for autism, because how it is. It's just that way.
That is so cool. So
this is our brand new, it gets dropped this Friday.
That is sleek. I really like that. That's nice.
Telling you right now, this bat's going to change people's lives.
But she can't swing that one. She's not a senior.
Nope, I know. But she can swing this one. This is the U-Trip version.
Yeah, nice. But I think she'd be better with the big popper.
Yep, probably. And that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But
sign me up. I'm ready to go. I mean, I just haven't explored a whole lot. I'm the same way with my clothes, I'm in my modern day, I'm black, white, and gray, as you can probably tell. I'm pretty basic. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. But obviously, like you said, if there's something better out there, I would love to try it. I'm the type of person, I read and watch every single YouTube review I could ever find on a bat before I even make that purchase, because I want to hear what everyone else has to say. I would love some more women bat reviews. So if you review bats as a woman, I would like to hear what you have to say, because there's not enough women out there that review bats. Because, you know, no offense to the men, but they can jack it out 300-400 feet. Like, you know, how does that really impact a women's decision on a bat, right?
Watch my lives on Sundays.
Yeah.
We are low bat speed guys with zero power.
There you go. I'll
Well,
watch you. That's for sure.
And I have a 7-year-old lady that swings and she hits and she's legit.
That's awesome.
And that's how I started. I was going to do, because when I came back into it after retiring for several years, I'm like, there's no, I mean, what bat am I going to use now? Because, and it was all these big dudes, you know, hitting home runs or hitting exit velos. And I'm like, that's not my swing. That's not how women swing. So my first intention was to do bat reviews, but then it came up that opportunity with Short Porch, and I'm like, I just love these bats. So now I'll do my reviews on all of our Short Porch bats.
There you
go. And do demo days and let people, you know, swing them. So there's only 1 or 2 bats that I don't, of my personal ones, I don't let them swing. One of them's up here. I think it's that one because it's about to blow up.
Oh, no.
Well, I did it to myself. So, but yeah, we'll work out a day where we can go hit and you can try out all the bats and just see if you even like any of them, and then be like, oh yeah, okay, now you can actually feel them instead of just admiring them from catching.
There's a red wig popper on her wall that would fit your swing very, very beautifully.
Nice. I look forward to it. I'm super excited.
Yeah, we'll link up and we'll do that. And anything else you want to leave the people with so we don't take up all your time tonight?
I mean, you guys just had some amazing questions. I really appreciate the conversation. Like, I didn't know how well I was going to do because I was never the best at public speaking, but honestly, it feels more of a personal conversation. I don't feel like, you know, I'm speaking in front of millions right now, so that helps. I don't have to picture you guys in your underwear.
There's only 30-some people on, so you're good.
Oh, you didn't have to say that. I didn't need that. I did not need to know that.
Half of them are your friends. What are you talking about?
That's
true. Have a following?
Let's see. I think the last thing I want to say is, I really appreciate you guys. You bringing up before the tournament, you know, if you don't have haters, then that means that you're not doing something right. Or, you know, if you do have haters, you're doing something right. Trust me, I definitely feel some hate from some people. So maybe that means I'm doing something right. So I'm not going to admit that I'm perfect. I'm not going to admit that the growth of success is going to be linear. I do know that there's going to be some up and downs, and I'm going to, you know, take it head on. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of people back me and support me because they feel a personal connection with me. And that's what I try to do. I just try to be personable with people. And I hope that if anybody hasn't gotten to know me as a person, that I incline them to get to know me. You know, I'm a mother of 3. I have a career that is very, very time demanding. I'm commission based. I run, like, I kind of run with my head cut off, you know, a million different directions, usually throughout the week. And I'm also on top of that trying to build something from the ground up for the women. So just give me some grace, you know, give me some, you know, mercy when it comes to things maybe not always adding up exactly 100%. But I'm definitely trying my best, and hopefully you guys can feel that I have your best interest at heart.
Oh, we definitely do. And we are just ready to see, you know, how much you grow. And even Ron Yeager's like, great attitude, you'll be fine. So,
awesome.
And he plays a lot. So you're going to do awesome. And
we're proud of you. We just want you to know that. We truly are.
Thank you.
It's huge. This is something huge. And I don't think people realize how huge this is.
Yeah.
You're going to do very well in this. And
we are all very excited. So we appreciate you coming on tonight. Now you can go get those kiddos some dinner because I'm sure.
Yep. Sorry, kiddos.
Yeah. They're doing fine. They handle themselves pretty well. One's actually at her softball practice. She is on an 8U travel softball team down in Oakdale, called
Oh, nice.
Galaxy, and she's at her batting practice right now. So yeah, I also have that going for me too. So
We have a fast pitch bat coming out soon.
all right, I'll be your first purchaser. I promise you.
Now
Especially
we know
if you
why I'm the #1 rep in the country.
especially if you have the little size, because since she's on an 8U team, but she just turned 7, so she's pretty young.
Nice.
And so she needs kind of like that smaller bat. It's very hard to find a composite bat that's not one of those ting tings at her
Right.
age. So just finding something that fits her size, but also gives that composite bat feel and everything. So
Van said to run because she's becoming a short porch addict, and she tells me that she's going to lose my phone number and block me. So
I get that daily. Come on. People hate me and love me at the same time. Matter of fact, Josh Ezzy yelled at me today. Damn it, my wife's going to divorce me. She's not going to divorce me, just you.
I feel like Van probably has like in her repertoire probably like at least 20 bats, because when my women's did a bat raffle, she literally won it. So her luck is on her side.
Nice.
she
says blocked.
Sorry, Van, love you.
We're spilling the secrets, Van. You're done.
I just tell her every bat I sell her she can't use when I'm pitching.
Yeah.
So.
That's a great rule. I use that rule a lot, but Mingo don't listen to me, neither him or Dennis.
She just wants to show you how well it works.
Yeah. The problem is it comes back just as fast as it went to him.
I'm sure you guys are up for the challenge.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate it, and we'll have you on again after you get some more tournaments under your belt, so you can even give us even more of your knowledge and
nice.
Or right before you're going to do your draft tournament, we will definitely have you on.
If I have some gray hairs, you'll know why.
It's okay. I'll show you mine later.
Send me a friend request. Take my phone number, whatever you need. I'm there for you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So we will catch you guys all next week. Next Monday, 5 o'clock, and we'll let you know who we're bringing on then.
Don't forget, Friday, 2 bats are dropping.
Yes, at 2 p.m. Eastern, so 11 o'clock our time. All right. We'll catch you.